Have you ever thought that waking up in the morning is the safest moment of the day? When your body has rested and your mind is ready for what lies ahead. As a brain doctor, I must warn you that this assumption can be dangerously misleading. For many seniors, the first hour after waking is actually the most vulnerable time for a stroke. You may think stroke only happens suddenly in dramatic ways. But the truth is, it often begins with quiet habits that seem harmless. Getting out of bed too fast, skipping that first glass of water, or ignoring a moment of dizziness may appear small. But for an older brain and blood vessels already under stress, those habits can be the tipping point that raises your risk of stroke overnight. I have treated countless patients who brushed off these early morning signs until one day they could not move their arm. Their words would not form, or their vision blurred without warning. These stories are not meant to scare you, but to protect you. The good news is, awareness and small adjustments can make all the difference. In this video, I will reveal 7 common morning habits that quietly increase your risk of stroke, and I will also show you safer, smarter choices that can protect your brain, your independence, and your future. Before we dive in, if you have not subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. And if you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. Now let us begin with the very first habit that may be putting your brain at risk the moment you wake up. Part 1. The dangerous jump from bed that starves your brain of oxygen. Have you ever woken up feeling fine, only to stand and suddenly feel lightheaded, weak, or not quite yourself? If you are over 60, that moment is not something to brush off. For many older adults, stroke does not arrive with a loud warning. It begins quietly, with small signals that seem harmless until speech slurs. An arm will not lift, or memory slips away. I am not here to frighten you. I am here to protect your brain, your independence, and your future. One morning habit does more hidden damage than most people realize. It is the instant jump from bed. After a night of sleep, your circulation is in a calm, low-pressure state, blood pools in the lower body, and your brain receives less flow when you first wake. If you suddenly shift from lying to standing, your blood pressure can drop sharply. Doctors call this orthostatic hypotension. You might feel woozy, unsteady, or close to fainting. That brief fog means your brain is not getting enough oxygen. In aging vessels that are stiffer, narrower, or plaque-lined, this sudden drop can set off a transient ischemic attack or even a full stroke. The fix is simple and powerful. When your eyes open, pause. Take slow nasal breaths. Wiggle fingers and toes. Circle your ankles. Roll to the side. Push up to sitting. Plant both feet. Sit tall. Count to 20. Then stand. If you have ever felt morning dizziness, that was not just age. That was your nervous system pleading for a gentler transition. Add a soft spinal wake-up. Turn your head left and right. Shrug and release your shoulders. Draw one knee toward your chest while seated, then the other. These tiny moves pump blood back to the brain and tell your circulation to rise with you. Pair this with a bedside rule. No phone, no news, no rushing, just 90 seconds of wake-up grace. Those 90 seconds protect the tiny arteries that feed language, balance, and memory. They also protect your confidence. A steady first step sets the tone for a steady day. If this surprised you, wait until you hear about the next habit. It is the simplest morning choice of all, and skipping it quietly thickens your blood, slows your thinking, and raises your stroke risk before breakfast. Part 2. The forgotten glass of water that thins your blood and wakes your brain. Can I share a small habit that protects brains more reliably than many supplements? Drink 1 full glass of room temperature water the moment you sit up. During sleep, you lose fluid through breathing and perspiration. You go many hours without drinking. By morning, you are mildly dehydrated, even if you do not feel thirsty. The brain is mostly water. When you wake dry, your blood is more viscous, your circulation sluggish, and your blood pressure more likely to fluctuate. In seniors, that combination increases the risk of stroke, confusion, and slower reaction times. The problem grows if you take diuretics for blood pressure or heart failure. These medications pull fluid out of your body overnight. Add morning coffee without water, and you amplify dehydration. The solution is elegantly simple. Keep a filled glass on your nightstand. Sit, breathe, and sip the entire glass before pills, coffee, or screens. That first glass thins your blood naturally, improves oxygen delivery, and tells your autonomic nervous system that it is safe to switch from night mode to day mode. It also steadies your heart rhythm and reduces cortisol spikes that strain fragile vessels. Want a gentle upgrade? Add a small pinch of mineral-rich salt if your doctor allows, or squeeze a little lemon for taste. If you are on a sodium-restricted plan, skip the salt and stick with plain water. Consistency beats novelty. 1 glass every morning, without fail. Over weeks, patients report clearer thinking, fewer morning headaches, and less dizziness. Over months, they see steadier blood pressure patterns. Over years, this single habit lowers cumulative vascular stress that pushes people towards stroke. If you already keep this routine, share it with a friend who still starts the day dry. And if water feels too cold in winter, keep it room temperature. Your brain does not need an icy shock. It needs dependable hydration. Now that you have restored fluid balance, let us look at the next silent trigger. It is sitting on your breakfast plate. It does not always taste salty, and it stiffens the very vessels your brain depends on. Part 3. The salty breakfast trap that stiffens arteries and spikes morning pressure. What is on your morning plate? A bowl of cereal that seems wholesome, a slice of toast, a scrambled egg with cheese, a quick sausage link, perhaps a granola bar or an instant oatmeal packet labeled healthy. Many of these foods hide large doses of sodium. Morning hours already bring a natural rise in blood pressure due to hormonal cycles. Add a salty breakfast, and you create a surge that batters delicate brain capillaries. Sodium attracts water and increases blood volume, which raises pressure inside vessels that may already be inflamed, calcified, or narrowed. In seniors with hypertension, this pattern becomes a daily hammer blow. You may notice nothing more than subtle morning fog, a bit of swelling, or a nagging headache. Over time, those blows translate into white matter changes that slow processing speed, reduce balance, and increase stroke risk. The fix is not deprivation. It is selection. Choose plain rolled oats instead of flavored packets. Top with berries, sliced apple, or a spoon of unsalted nut butter. Prefer boiled or poached eggs with avocado and pepper instead of cheese-heavy scrambles. Swap sausage for a handful of walnuts or a side of tomatoes. Pick bread with truly low sodium on the label. Not just whole grain branding. Read numbers carefully. For breakfast, aim for under 300 to 400 milligrams of sodium total. Many cereals and bars exceed that in one serving, even when they do not taste salty. If you drink vegetable juice in the morning, choose low sodium versions or switch to water with lemon. Store-bought muffins, biscuits, and pastries are double trouble. They combine sodium with refined flour and added sugars that inflame vessels and disrupt insulin. Make simple swaps. Whole fruit instead of juice. Greek yogurt without added sugar instead of flavored cups. If this seems strict, remember, your goal is not a perfect diet. Your goal is morning protection. Reduce the daily pressure surge. And you reduce lifetime vascular wear. With hydration and smarter breakfast choices in place, let us talk about the most beloved morning ritual of all. It is not your enemy, but how and when you drink it can quietly strain your brain. Part 4. Coffee on an empty stomach and the smarter way to keep your ritual. Be honest. Is coffee the first thing you reach for? For many, that warm cup feels like life itself. Caffeine is a powerful stimulant. On an empty stomach, it boosts adrenaline, tightens vessels, and raises heart rate and blood pressure. In a younger, elastic artery, the spike is brief. In older, stiffened vessels, the spike can be sharp and prolonged. For seniors with atrial fibrillation or borderline pressure, the combination increases the risk of transient ischemic attack, palpitations, and morning brain fog. You do not have to give up coffee. You do need to change the sequence. First water, then a light, brain-friendly bite. Half a banana with peanut butter if you tolerate it. A boiled egg and a few berries. A slice of genuine whole grain toast with avocado. After that, enjoy one moderate cup. Sip rather than gulp. Avoid multiple large mugs back to back. Skip the flavored creamers heavy with added sugars and emulsifiers that inflame the lining of your vessels. If you love a second cup, make it half caffeinated or brew it later in the morning after a short walk. Notice your body's signals. If you feel jittery or lightheaded, you have your answer. Coffee is for joy and alertness, not for survival. If you are using multiple cups to overcome fatigue, investigate the cause. Poor sleep, sleep apnea, dehydration, anemia, low mood, or medication. Timing can all masquerade as coffee cravings. Consider switching a late morning cup to herbal tea. Cinnamon or ginger tea delivers warmth without spikes. If reflux bothers you, reduce acidity with cold brew or add a splash of milk. Protect the ritual by protecting the brain it serves. And speaking of subtle morning signals, many seniors dismiss one of the most important warnings their brains will ever send. It lasts minutes. It fades. It must never be ignored. Part 5. The quiet morning warning you must never dismiss. Have you ever woken with a brief wave of dizziness? A sudden drift to one side? A moment when words feel mushy? Or a hand that will not grip like usual? It is tempting to blame sleep position, a stiff neck, or a poor night. In seniors, those brief spells can be transient ischemic attacks. A thanks in advance is a temporary interruption of blood flow that produces real stroke symptoms, which resolve within minutes. Resolution is not safety. It is a red alert. Without evaluation and treatment, a major stroke often follows within days. Morning is a prime time for TIAs because blood pressure and clotting factors shift as you transition from sleep to wakefulness. If you feel sudden weakness on one side, facial droop, blurred or double vision, garbled speech, or a strange imbalance, note the time and act. Use the FAST test. Face, arms, speech. Time to call. Even if the symptoms fade, you still need urgent evaluation. Imaging can reveal clots, bleeding, or narrowed vessels. Heart rhythm monitoring can uncover atrial fibrillation that throws clots to the brain. Blood tests can show sugar, cholesterol, and clotting issues. Waiting is gambling with brain cells. Keep a symptom log on your phone or a notepad. Write what you felt, which side, how long, and what you were doing. Bring it to your doctor. If you live alone, tell a neighbor or family member that any sudden neurological change means you will call for help. Create a pact before you need it. If you wear a smartwatch, learn how to capture heart rhythm. While not diagnostic on its own, it can prompt timely medical care. Remember, your body whispers before it shouts. The morning whisper is your chance to change the day, and perhaps the rest of your life. Now, let us protect the brain with the tools you already have in your cabinet. The pills are not the whole answer, but the way you take them can either shield the brain or quietly raise your risk. Part 6. Medication timing, morning mistakes, and the routine that protects your brain. How confident are you about your morning medications? Many seniors take blood pressure drugs, statins, anticoagulants, antiplatelets, or diabetes prescriptions. These are not casual pills. They are your brain's daily shield against clot, surge, and vessel injury. Skipping a blood pressure dose can allow a morning spike to slam fragile arteries. Accidentally, double dosing can make you dizzy, drop your pressure, or raise bleeding risk. Swallowing pills with coffee or without food when a meal is required can impair absorption or trigger side effects. Build a zero-guess system. Use a pill organizer with clear morning, midday, and evening sections. Refill it on the same day each week. Set alarms on your phone. Tie dosing to an anchor habit you never miss, like brushing teeth or pouring water. Always take pills with water, not coffee or juice, unless your doctor instructs otherwise. Review your medication list with your clinician or pharmacist at least twice a year. Ask which must be taken in the morning and which may be better at night. Some blood pressure medicines and statins can be scheduled to match your body's rhythms for better protection. Ask specifically about interactions with grapefruit, high vitamin K foods, or over-the-counter pain relievers. Never adjust your dose based on how you feel that day. Hypertension is often silent. Anticoagulants do not make you feel protected, but they are silently preventing clots. If cost or side effects make you hesitate, tell your clinician there are alternatives and supports. Add one more safeguard. Keep an updated medical list in your wallet and on your phone. Include drug names, doses, and timing. In an emergency, that list helps the team act safely and quickly. When your medication routine is reliable, your brain enjoys a calmer, more predictable environment. With that shield in place, only one morning habit remains. It sounds trivial. It is not. It is the very first signal your body sends every dawn. And honoring it lowers blood pressure spikes, and protects your heart and brain. Part 7. The morning bathroom rule that lowers pressure and calms your heart. This will sound simple, yet it matters more than most people realize. When you wake and feel the urge to urinate, go immediately. Do not read messages. Do not scroll headlines. Do not wait for coffee. A full bladder is not just uncomfortable, it is physiologic stress. The stretch triggers reflexes that raise sympathetic tone, increase cortisol, and elevate blood pressure. In some seniors, particularly those with arrhythmias, the strain can provoke irregular heartbeats. A blood pressure surge plus an unstable rhythm is a recipe for clot formation and stroke. This risk rises in the early morning when pressure naturally climbs. The habit of waiting another 10 minutes quietly adds to a lifetime of morning spikes. Make the simplest rule of all. Feet to floor. Straight to the bathroom. No detours. If nighttime urgency is an issue, limit fluids 2 hours before bed. Reduce evening alcohol. And speak with your clinician about bladder training or medication timing. If you wake groggy and worry about falls, keep a motion nightlight. Clear the path. And wear non-slip socks. Protecting the brain also means protecting safe mobility. After you go, wash hands, drink your water, and begin your wake-up sequence. You have already prevented a stress spike and strengthened your morning foundation. Put it all together now. Rise slowly. Drink water. Choose a low-sodium breakfast. Time coffee after food. Respect brief neurological whispers. Take medications properly. Honor the bathroom urge. These are not grand gestures. They are small, repeatable choices that keep blood flowing. Pressure steady. Rhythm calm. And brain cells alive. If you practice them daily, you lower your stroke risk and protect the gifts that matter most. Clarity, balance, memory, independence, doctor's final words. Stroke rarely begins with drama. It begins with mornings, a rush stand, a dry brain, a salty plate, coffee before food, a dismissed warning, a missed pill, a delayed bathroom trip. None of these alone guarantees harm. Yet together, repeated day after day, they quietly wear down the brain's delicate network. The hopeful truth is that protection is built exactly the same way. In small, repeatable, ordinary choices you make each dawn. Your body still remembers how to heal. Your vessels still respond to calmer pressure and better flow. Your heart still steadies when dehydration fades and stress softens. Your brain still clears when oxygen rises. Begin tomorrow with intention. Give yourself 90 seconds to wake gently. Drink water first. Keep breakfast truly low in sodium. Enjoy coffee after food. Treat every sudden neurological change as urgent. Take your pills on time with water. Go to the bathroom as soon as you feel the urge. Share these habits with a partner or a friend so you can keep each other accountable. If this guidance helped, tell me which change you will make first. Type 1 if you found value. Type 0 if you want something explained more clearly, and subscribe so you never miss a practical, science-backed tip made just for you. Small choices, repeated daily, protect your brain, your balance, and your independence for years to come.